Well, hello to all. This is my first video on this channel, The Big Bag of Wind. Basically, it's trying to open discussions or lines of discussions about current events based upon my 40 years plus of observations and conclusions drawn from those observations. It's going to be opinionated and it's going to have a lot of issues for a lot of people. But instead of attacking me, the individual, maybe discuss the material being discussed. Because we are many people on many different sides. I mean, everybody has a different opinion. Heck, we got 350 million plus people in the United States. So you've got 350 million people plus opinions. I just read today a blurb about the United States Supreme Court not accepting a case in which there is a challenge on the issue of transgender people being using the bathrooms that are opposite their biological sex. The young person that won the case for the use was the case itself was still being contested by the state. I can't remember which state it was. We can always check that out and find out. However, that's not the issue I want to talk here. I want to talk here about the issue of how this stuff is being reported. In the article, the title was saying it's a big win for this young man or woman or whatever the case may be. It's not. It was declined to be reviewed based upon the issue that is nothing to review, because there was no contested issue between, let's say, the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals and the 1st and or the 9th, where there were 2 different or 3 different opinions about the same issue. It was all just one ruling, and there was no contesting by any other court coming up with a different opinion. So what I'm getting at here is a lot of reporting says big wins or big losses, but they're not based upon the case actually coming under review and a ruling being made based upon the facts of the case. It's more a case of technicalities. So it isn't big wins or big losses. It's just a ruling that states we're not going to look at it for this reason. Even though, like in this particular case, I think Clarence Thomas and Alioto both said that the Supreme Court should take a look at the case simply because there are other issues coming up the pike, coming up the courts that deal with the issue of transgenderism, sex identification versus biological sex, and how we are to establish guidelines as to overlaps in who gets to do what in what context. I'd be interested in hearing some discussions on this, not attacks. You attack, you're blocked. You want to talk about it? I'm open to talking about it. Maybe I can be called a classic liberal where I will listen to both sides, even though I do have an opinion. Or basically, like I like to say, I'm a libertarian and I want government and I want businesses out of our lives. They don't drive what we do. It is our lives, our communities, our society, not the government and not business. I'll be open to any discussion, questions, or comments about the subject matter and your positions. But again, any attacks will be blocked and reported. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy this channel.